Gensel open right there. He scores! Shane Gensel!
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
Welcome to another live Pittsburgh Sportsline show in the BPTV studio, right in the municipal building in Bethel Park. We're right across from the police station. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier is in the hospital. It's another mystery illness that he told me last Friday he would be in the hospital and miss our show Tuesday night. So Guns is filling in again, and we have Steve Wirt filling again for Smoking Jim Frazier. And Chip Hayner's not here. It's 3.5 months after his knee transplant. It's his second one. He's not doing very well. He has to go back to the surgeon because he's having trouble walking. So we'll find out more. If you ask me what I know about him, Smoking Jim, I know absolutely nothing. Every morning I say good morning and prayers. He says, thanks, machine. So we'll pray for both of those guys. Nick Callis is here with me, and we got a crew here on the cameras. We'll talk about them in a minute. But thanks to all of you for watching Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way out to Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, Greater Pittsburgh area, City of Pittsburgh, you name it. You're watching our show, so we appreciate it. We're also on Facebook Live. We're on BPTV, Facebook Live. And go to my channel, Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. Yes, spell it all out. Pittsburgh Sportsline, you know that. And I'll spell channel. Let me think. I'm a KO grad. CHANNEL. Type that in there and you can watch us on the Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. Thanks all of you for watching it the last few weeks. I just got different information from you, so we appreciate all of you. And we're going to do something new with promos. Nick and Dave Cable, the director, made me come in last week and provide audio for the next segment of all the promos that I do. And then I have 2 special promos that I'll talk about after that segment is done. So take it away, Ryan. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
And now this message from BPTV.
I don't know how to edit.
But I can.
I can't work this camera.
But I can.
I can't get this to work. But I can. I can do this. Now I need you to do the rest. Please volunteer at BPTV. Josh, let's get this show on the road.
South Park Theater is hosting its Party in the Park fundraiser on Saturday, April 29th from 4 o'clock until 7. There will be live music, beer, wine, hors d'oeuvres, and a slate of events scheduled for the kids. General admission is $40, 4 to 12-year-olds get in for $5, and children under 3 are free. Tickets are available at EV True Value Hardware, the Bethel Park Library, South Park Theater, or you can go online to bpcf.org. If you want more information, go online or call 412-760-9614.
Do I look at him? Okay. Hey, sorry about the technological difficulties. Hope you enjoyed my new segment section. They had me doing the voiceover in case if you didn't notice that. Nick did some great work and he did the Party in the Park. Well, I'm on a committee called the Honors Committee with the Kidney Foundation. We had our biggest event Saturday night at Acrisure, Suite B upstairs. What a entertainment room it is. Probably 300 plus people there, musicians, all the fundraisers. Well, I met a lady who I met 3 years ago was telling me her son had a kidney transplant 4 years ago out of college. It was 2 weeks after college. His kidneys failed. So it's quite the story. His name is Alex Reed. So I have a little promo. He needs a living donor. He's now 33 years old, and he needs a living donor. So call 830-285-2140. I'll show this for Rowan to get a close-up on there with the camera. We got to have you work a little pull on that. We got our Rowan, right? We'll see how he does. He's on this camera today. He's been here for a couple months now. Look at that. Rowan, that is excellent. Whoop, stay with it, Ryan. Stay with Rowan's camera. This is the show that people, sorry, Guns, it's taking a minute for this.
I gave you 20. I figured you were going to.
Okay. Make sure you call that number 830-285-2140 to get him a living donor. Like my son is the living donor for me. If Drew's watching, thank you, hero, for watching the show. Next up, I met a policeman named Jeffrey Crawford. He actually was at an event with Bill Neal and Smokin' Jim Frazier. He's in stage 5 renal failure, so he gets dialysis 3 times a week, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. So they did a flyer for him to get a living donor, because with living donors, the kidney will last for almost 30 years. So they told me I'll live to 93. I didn't expect to live past yesterday, but I made it. So we have a flyer. The number they have, the UPMC Donor Registry, call this 412-647-4438. I'm old, so I'll repeat it so you can hear it again. 412-647-4438, or you can go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. Again, livingdonorreg.upmc.com. Please get Jeff a kidney. Volunteer. Come on, Rowan. We need you to pick up this. Look at this flyer. I printed it on my printer. My son Drew said, "Dad, what's with all the ink? You're buying a new cartridge." Great shot of Jeff. Look at that. He looks in great shape. How about he was a 4-star athlete, 4-sport athlete at Shenley High School, and he's 57 years old, and he's still working at the police department. He does community work with the schools, and he went to Shenley High School. So help this gentleman out, and that's what I have for us there. All right, we got to start this show off with what's on your mind, Steve Wirt.
What is on my mind? Well, I think at least 2 things are on my mind here.
We'll take the first one and then go.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you haven't noticed, like, Pitt basketball has kind of been a return to prominence somewhat with their 21 wins.
I just have to do a disclaimer. I've been saying since they got rid of Jamie Dixon, what's wrong with Pitt? And my answer is no Jamie Dixon.
Well, yes, that's been an issue, but I will say this: like the fans I don't know, they were ranked, they might not be ranked now, but
They're not.
The fans were.
They're out of the top 25.
Yeah, well, the fans were complaining, but the problem is like you complain all you want, but you really have to beat teams like Florida State, Virginia Tech, and Notre Dame. And I understand maybe you lose the Notre Dame.
Wasn't there
game.
Miami in there?
Well, yeah, I could live with like losing to Miami or losing to Notre Dame, but you just can't lose to like I think Florida State has like 10 wins or something. Like
I agree with you.
Yeah, and then like also Virginia Tech. I know they're a decent team, but you got to beat somebody once in a while, and that's the problem. And that might keep them out of the tournament is not beating anyone, just kind of losing all the all the games. They beat North Carolina and they beat Miami at home. But they didn't beat Miami on the road, and that kind of cost them.
Well, look at how
and that's why they don't get any respect, and that's why.
Well, there's disrespect out there with Leonardi and the rest of them. Look at when Pitt's been number 1, and they're not even in the top 25 anymore.
Yeah. So I can see where it's coming from, but now to get in the tournament, they're definitely going to have to at least win, I think, 2 games in the ACC tournament, which, I don't think is an impossible task for this team.
Right.
So, that's kind of my point is like I like, if you want respect, just win the games. I could care less if people respect you or not. If you win and you win the ACC or the ACC.
How long have
tournament,
you been watching sports?
Probably longer than I'd like to admit.
Okay, then
Yeah.
you know that.
Just
How-
win, baby. I'm with Al Davis on that one. Just
Yeah,
win.
a Raiders guy. Whoa.
I am sitting in this seat, isn't that smoking Jim? Yeah.
Well, he says the most outrageous things. And Nick told me that Smoking Jim might be watching us. So, Smoking Jim, I hope we can entertain you in between the sponge baths that you get in the hospital. We still pray for you, not knowing what illness you have or what condition you have.
Hey, Al, he might walk in like Willis Reed in the garden here and surprise us all. And
No, well, I'll tell you, a year ago, he was walking like a brother, he said, when he was barely crawling to his seat. And he said, brothers walk that way. I said, only sick ones. So then he went to the hospital for a week, and he was in bed with plastic casts on. And he said it was like a vacation. So the veracity of his statements don't even hit the charts. Not even close. But you had a second point?
I had a $1 million idea here. And this
For
is
later?
Yeah, we can save that
How
for
about
later.
on the next segment?
Yeah, there we go. We
Get
can do that.
prepared to tease is. Steve told me privately he has $1 million question.
Well, if it's a question, it's an idea, and you guys can see if it's worth $1 million.
I let his
2
own
cents.
words speak for
Yes,
themselves.
there you go.
Thank you, Steve. First, I want to shout out to some of the people. Thanks to Chief Chuck McElroy, Amy, and 2 other people are watching. I can't see who it is. Amy said she has the flu since Friday. That's when Smoking Jim went in the hospital. And we're glad you're feeling better, even though you're coughing. Prayers for you. Ralph Williams is saying hello, guys, from Youngstown, Ohio. His nephew's in critical condition there. He was in a bad accident, and he's there with him. And Guns is watching us. Alan Praskovich is watching. Zach Youngblood is watching. Martin Piccolo is watching. Amy said, Guns, I like your St. Patrick's Day shirt.
Amy has good taste.
Amy knows. Well, thank you for all of you watching that. Guns, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? First, happy St. Patrick's Day week to all my Irish friends. I have my Irish shirt on, hoping it'll bring some luck to the Pirates in the Pitt basketball
Hold
team.
it, could you repeat that? The 2 of our teams need luck.
They need more than luck.
I am stunned by this.
Well, let's talk a little Pirates here. They got spanked by the Yankees yesterday, 9-2, and they kind of vindicated themselves a little bit. But you know, everybody's talking about this McCutchen thing, and honestly, I think Kutch was.
Hold it, interruption. He got hurt the other day, a hand injury.
Doesn't matter because he's nothing more than fireworks to get people psyched up. Because if he was that great, why did all the other teams pass him up?
Good question. Why
know?
did they?
But in fairness to the Pirates, I will say this: the infield is much better. You know, with Cruz, I like the fact that Santana and Choi add to the designated hitter and to some help. Desperate need help in first base, so I look for.
Will they have somebody that knows to throw to first base or just step on first base? When
Great
runners-
point.
Like I read Craig Wilson.
turn.
Yeah, so.
Well, since we're talking Pirates, I have a question. Like, we all started Little League and we learned to play baseball. How come every time we get players in the minor leagues, they have to teach them to play Major League Baseball? Go ahead.
You can say that for yours.
No, mine's not about Pirates.
Well, the
Why do
biggest
we want
problem.
to talk about them now when I don't pay attention to spring training? Grapefruit League, what is that?
The biggest problem Pirates have is their bullpen. I mean, what's it, Bednar? He's okay. They had a couple guys from the Mets. They were both hurt. So, I don't know. You may see some improvement, but you can bet if they do improve that much, they'll get traded. Pitt basketball, you've heard me say it before. When they play well, it's like saying Beetlejuice. The minute you mention that they're good, they get wiped off the planet.
I like that analogy.
They were saying all
Welcome
of a sudden-
back, Guns.
They were saying they were going to they made the top 25. Everybody was bragging. And then everyone said, oh, they'll go through the next 2 games easy. Notre Dame spanked them like they weren't there, and then they just got beat again. So here we are, out of the top 25. They made Capel. Didn't they make him coach of the?
Yeah, they did.
ACC Coach of the Year.
Yeah. Congratulations, him.
Congrats the Cable.
But it's going to be fun though this year to watch March Madness. No love for the Big East. No love for the ACC. In the top 10, I think Connecticut is the only team from both conferences that's in the top 10 right now.
What's Virginia? Is Virginia
13.
13?
Them in Miami.
I think they're the
I
highest,
like
they're the
Huggy.
highest ranked,
Shout
yeah.
out to my son. He loves West Virginia his whole life. We even went to some backyard brawls when our hot chocolate froze at halftime.
Nice. But this is going to be
That's
a really,
our claim to fame. Drew will verify it.
this March Madness is going to be really fun because you got 5 or 6 teams that we don't know who's going to rise to the top. Houston, even Marquette's back in the game, UCLA, Alabama, Purdue. We'll see. And that's what's on my mind.
Well, I got to say one thing about Alabama. How can they have a criminal on their team who was an accomplice to a death, and nobody's saying that he's responsible for any of that? Did our laws change, Guns?
Well, all I can tell you, when you're the best basketball player in the country, obviously they must have.
Thank you very much. Coming from a law enforcement politician here,
After all, it is Alabama.
we got to move on. Hey, first, Amy said,
They have their priorities, you know.
Right.
Steve,
basketball.
Amy likes your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
And Amy likes my haircut. Zazu and Amelia, thank you. And then Johnny Mariano's watching us. I wonder if his sister Diane's watching us. And Johnny goes, on the door of Smokin' Jim's hospital room, in honor of me, it says disclaimer. Come back soon. We miss you. Great job, VIP, Machine, Guns, and Steve. So he covered it all. What's on your mind, Nick Callis?
Oh, well, that's on my mind.
All right, just one then.
All right, just one.
Yeah.
Well, I want to give a shout out to wrestling. I did a wrestling
Okay,
tournament this
that's
weekend
it.
for Green Sports.
We'll move on.
Because nobody talks about wrestling as much, and I respect the sport and I play.
Is this
so that's
real
fine.
wrestling or fake wrestling?
No, real wrestling. It's like the
okay.
kind that the high schoolers,
Okay.
you know, it's high school sport.
So we don't have
I
like the
covered-
Stone Cold Stunner.
No,
or
no,
nothing
no
like that.
steel chairs, none of that nonsense. No, real wrestling. So I'd like to give a shout out to that. And in terms of Pitt basketball, if Pitt doesn't win a game in a tournament like these guys think 2, I'm at 1. If they've got to win 1, and then I'll feel fine.
Hold it. You set the bar so low.
I do, but I think that
Unbelievable.
I think they've done enough in the regular season, in conference play, to be able to make it into the tournament. They got to win 1 though. If they don't win a game, if they lose tomorrow, there's some trouble, and I'm going to start to worry, and that might be kaput.
Might
for the
be
team.
NIT land.
Yeah, well, I mean, well,
Yeah.
No, what tournament can they buy in? BCI or something? Didn't they?
CBI,
Yeah, didn't they do that one time? Maybe they could buy back in.
but I hate that, like, you know, there's a lot of talk and a lot of excitement, and a lot of hype that Pitt's not going to Pitt anymore, and there's going to be none of this joking stuff going on, and then they did that. They choked.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, I'm with it, and I'm sad because I never really grew up liking basketball as much, but I went through school and learned about it. It's a cool sport, and to know that Pitt had a good season after, you know, a long time is kind of cool to follow, and the fact that I get to follow them on a regular basis because of my job is also a
Where's your
bonus.
job at?
You all know my job. I work
No,
at
no.
93.7
Tell the people.
93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, right?
What do you do
yeah,
there?
I produce. I press buttons.
And
talk.
a little bird told me on the morning show the other day you were on air again.
Yeah, I was on air this morning, and I'll be on the air again at 5
We don't
o'clock in
mind
the morning
promoting
tomorrow.
anybody else that's on media.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, I
We
mean,
appreciate you.
I've appreciated covering the basketball team, and now that they're struggling, it makes me worried. And I'm like, I don't feel safe anymore with them. I felt like they were in a great position, and then they lost a couple crucial games, and now I'm scared. It's kind of like how I feel about the Pirates, except Pitt's actually had tangible success this season. Always skeptical. Very skeptical about Pittsburgh sports nowadays. That's what's on my mind. There's just a skepticism everywhere, and it scares me. Very scared. Okay.
Guns?
I'm just saying, the thing that makes me think they're not going to make the tournament is you got Virginia sitting at 13 and Miami sitting at 14. Mm-hmm. And I think
I'm scared.
that-
I'm very scared.
I agree with you.
I'm very scared.
Definitely.
Yes.
This is one of the first times this year Guns and Nick agree.
How about that?
Wow.
Full moon.
We appreciate that. Bob Jeffrey Middleman, been a great guest on our show. He's all about Pitt. I call him Mr. Pitt. He goes back in history with Pitt and puts a lot of great things up there on Facebook and stuff. Very knowledgeable, and has a great shoe store and other stuff that he sells. So check him out. And Ralph said, thanks for your prayers. He's in stable condition now from critical. All right, Brandon Mann, my Mr. Sewer guy, just tuned in. We will talk a little bit about the Penguins and then them trying to improve their situation. Any input you want to put in, Brand, that you want to put out there with your expertise would be appreciated. So we'll just leave that up for you. I guess I got to do what's on my mind. How about this? Jalen Hood-Schifino just won Player of the Week. Now he's the freshman award winner of the Big Ten with Indiana. He was on our show as a young man. He's been a great basketball guy. He got a great basketball family back when Drew Schifino was with WVU. So we got back in history there. He just lit him up in Indiana. He was recruited to go there. So congratulations to his mother, Angel Schifino, who was also a guest on our show, his little sister, and the Schifino family. So good luck, continued success. Maybe we'll see something in the NCAA from Indiana. So stay tuned to that. We're going to go to Steve's segment first, and it's not a segment that we have graphics for. So Amy likes his shirt, so we'll bring that shirt back right now. Tell us what you want to do with us, Steve.
All right, here, I'm going to throw an idea out here, and you guys can, I'll see what your opinion
We're like
of it is.
sharks.
Yes.
Throw the
Yeah,
bloody meat out there.
10
We'll take
yeah.
it.
Or
For
the
Shark Week.
Tank,
Yeah, Shark Week. No, forget the tank. Mark Cuban's a friend of mine, billionaire.
You don't want a 10% stake in my
No, not at all.
company selling
No money on this. So.
selling scented candles or something.
No.
Okay. So now I was thinking about a tournament in honor of March Madness here. You could have a basketball tournament, but instead of just having like college or pro, you could have like every team. Now they do this in soccer where you could just have anybody from 5 guys down the street to the LA Lakers all playing in a tournament, and you would see who the champion is. It's one and done, but they do that in soccer, actually, believe it or not.
I believe it because I don't watch soccer.
Well, yeah.
I'd rather paint my bathroom like I
But they
did
would
the
do
last
this with
Olympics.
basketball, and I think it would be interesting because then you could have like a
I've
weird
heard of
matchup,
soccer.
like you could
Yes.
have like North Carolina versus like some team in the NBA. And it would be
Interesting
yes.
concept.
Yes.
So it'd be a basketball.
It'd just be a
tournament.
basketball tournament, open like the U.S. Open, pretty much, like just a basketball open tournament.
Well, what about all the money that the NCAA gets during March Madness?
They could
What do they-
could just pay
can
the
they
players like
donate it?
they do anyway.
Can they donate it to a charitable cause like the National Kidney Foundation, Alzheimer's, couple
I mean, if
things
the
that I
players
support,
one of
Heart
the-
Foundation?
one and two, I'm sure they could. So yeah.
Well, they could donate their time.
Yes, there you go.
If they all do it together.
And the
it's-
first time somebody gets hurt, everybody will complain, I'm sure.
Well, if you're not a pro, you're not going to be complaining because you're used to getting hurt and beaten down. No, that's an interesting idea. What do you guys think?
I'm with it, oddly.
I just think it would be weird to see like a team like you could possibly see like a Pitt or West Virginia play like a professional basketball team. They'd probably lose by 30, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you never know. Maybe Pitt beats the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry, and you never
Well,
know.
how would you bring the amateurs in? What would you do?
I
Different
know
sections?
normally they start with like all the amateurs have almost
Yeah.
their own bracket, and then they bring the professional teams or the higher level teams in at a certain level of the tournament.
Because there'd have to be something like the filter out the chafe there. So.
Yeah, you would definitely like the pro teams probably wouldn't come into a later stage in the tournament after
it'd be
the
like
amateurs. It kind of
Like a timing type of thing.
yeah, like the amateurs would have to win either like their bracket or their side, and then the winner of that would go to Vegas.
I needed some groundwork. Guns, what do you think?
I don't know enough about it yet to really give you a
Well, you just
strong
brought it
opinion.
up, so I appreciate that.
You know,
Yeah, we got a few other people watching us. Mike Rohde, whose son Marco's working, and his wife's here today. Pete Ridge is watching. Cindy Speck is watching. Amy's said, good seeing you guys. I'm going to lay down and rest. I took my medicine. Amy, we were trying to tell you bedtime stories so you'd feel better. I feel we accomplished our mission. Thanks for your idea, Steve. That's a Pittsburgh Sportsline first.
There you go.
Left it up to the whole panel, which we always interrupt. And Guns decided not to interrupt.
Well, you guys got crushed, I will say that. I'm the one that gets interrupted all the time.
You know, you do have a point there.
I'm the gentleman here, and I'm going to, okay, but if it makes you guys feel better, it's all right with me.
Oh, I feel great now. Let's go to
I
the...
see Bad Al's back, huh?
Yeah. Let's go to the Guns segment right now in 10 seconds. Let's
Let me
do
see
this.
Real quick.
Look at that. Wow. What graphics.
Well, I guess it's Penguin talk, right? We had a conversation a couple months ago
Uh-oh. Ding, ding.
where I said that they may not make the playoffs, and you were like,
Are you
but you still may be right.
Are you Nostradamus?
I am. I predicted Pitt after they became 25. And
Yes, you did.
the Penguins, I don't know, maybe a couple of those trades helped them. I hope. In a way, I don't want them to get into the playoffs because what's going to happen to them in there is frightening.
I can't argue with you, Guns.
But I don't know what to think
Who
about
would
it.
they have to play in the first round? Carolina or something?
Yeah.
That would
That would
be ugly. Yeah.
That would be very bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for Hextall to say goodnight. And I'm just, the one thing about like head coaches, they seem to have an exploration date, like meat in the freezer. And I think Sullivan may be coming to that exploration date. It just seems like the team's just like stuck. You know what I mean? So, but other than that, you'll appreciate this. All the 3-year-olds are coming out of the barns, and all the big races are coming. They had the
Love horse racing. Thoroughbreds or harness horse
when's the
racing.
Arkansas?
Well, the Rebel was last Saturday at Oaklawn, and it was a $1 million race. It was kind of ruined because it rained. It threw everything off.
It creates those sloppy tracks. I know what it is. You need a mutter.
A mutter.
Right.
I had one horse that was a mutter.
His mother was a mutter.
Yeah,
You got the Tampa Bay Derby, the Santa Anita Derby, the Arkansas Derby, the Woodlawn.
What's your favorite?
Uh,
In general.
I always take the winner of the Arkansas Derby and the Kentucky
Do
Derby.
you like the horse racing too then?
Not really.
Well,
Okay.
when you go to the Kentucky Derby, it just seems like a lot of the horses from Santa Anita and all that don't fare well. But
Yeah, they don't bring the West ones
the
always.
Florida Derby is
the time
one of my
change.
favorites.
It's like when a football team comes east. They just can't handle the time change, the horses.
Well, maybe. I've only been doing horse racing for
50 years.
actually, I'm dating I was only one, but and that's it.
Well, here we got a little Penguin update by Brand the Man. Here, I'll give his analysis. The Pens traded bad contracts for more bad contracts. Our core needs surrounded by youth, not more 30-plus-year-old players. Veteran leadership we have already. Bill Guerin makes a huge vet leadership in 2009. Now Crosby can be a veteran leader. We also need a goalie. Pens down 3-0 to Columbus right now.
Of course.
Jari gave up 3 goals on 8 shots.
I'm glad
Brand the
Steve's here.
Man, thank you.
What's the save percentage?
I'm glad
on
Steve's
that?
here to see this.
Off the charts.
you know
Go
what?
ahead.
5 out of 8. That's just over
Oh,
half.
It's funny you would say that because the Pirates,
Yeah.
the Steelers.
All our teams.
Yeah, we're not
They-
going to have a lot to talk about, huh? in
No,
the
but what I'm
future?
saying,
Not good.
is Pittsburghers like nostalgia. They brought McCutcheon back because they like nostalgia. Hockey, they wanted to keep the big three together because they like nostalgia.
But they're actually doing
Now,
well.
the big thing that's happening right now over in Northside, should we take Joey Porter's kid from
Easy.
nostalgia? But what they should do is take one of those beast offensive linemen from Northwestern or from is it Wisconsin? The other one.
Yes.
Instead, but they'll end up taking him because we Pittsburghers, we love nostalgia.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Guns. I appreciate it. Tianda Duvall's watching. Bill Abate is watching. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. Guns, you're spot on with that. Brand, thanks for adding some influence there, and your expertise was well appreciated. Maybe someday if somebody else misses out, we can give you a call. Since I heard you're living closer to us now, you can come in possibly. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's go to VIP time with Nick Callis.
He just crushes everybody. Jim's head's flipping around.
You know how he is.
Congratulations, Cleveland Browns. You've ruined football for everyone. Not only were they the ones that would lose a lot and be the butt of the joke, well, they made the entire league the butt of the joke. Here's why. Because when you give Deshaun Watson, a quarterback who's not established as the best quarterback in the NFL, $230 million, and that's your ceiling.
Guaranteed.
Now there's a quarterback carousel of contracts that are terrible. Daniel Jones just got $160 million, most of it guaranteed. Geno Smith just got $105 million, most of it guaranteed. Derek Carr, $105 million, mostly guaranteed. Well, that's actually an alleged deal. That one hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's likely to be confirmed. So look at what's happening here. And I hate the market of sports, and now I hate it specifically in the NFL. Because when a time where there was more conservative contracts with not guaranteed money, players had to prove themselves, the Cleveland Browns had to say, you know what, we're desperate. We need a big name. We need a controversial name, and we need to pay him to incentivize him to play for us. Team still didn't make the playoffs. I know he didn't play half the season, but still, his impact didn't seem that great. Maybe he'll get better over the years. But holy cow, look what's happening now. Oh, wow. And look at Lamar Jackson being forced into a non-committed franchise tag for much less than he deserves. He's the most successful out of all the quarterbacks that I just listed. How much money is he going to get? Well, the Ravens right now might be putting him in some trouble, not paying him what he's worth if that franchise tag sticks, unless he can't find somewhere else to play for. But, this is a mess. This is a mess in the NFL. It's been a mess in Major League Baseball for a while. Hockey's still kind of retained, as is the NBA, but the MLB and the NFL right now are in trouble. This is just nonsense. The quarterbacks are going to start getting a lot of guaranteed money. Then you're going to start seeing guaranteed wide receivers wanting the money, running backs wanting the money, high defensive talents wanting money. And then there's going to be an imbalance in the NFL. That's not going to be good. So thanks, Browns. Thank you for giving the rest of the league headaches. Daniel Jones was the biggest surprise for me. Geno Smith had a good year. Replacing Russell Wilson was not an easy task, and he actually did better for the team than Wilson had in the recent years. So good. Maybe that's justified. $105 million, though? I don't think so, but that's the most justified. What has Derek Carr done? Not really a lot.
Here, let me give you his record.
Daniel. Good.
63-79.
Exactly. And that dude
How'd I do?
is getting about $100 million worth of money in a guaranteed contract. That's nuts to me. And then Daniel Jones is the most surprising. The Giants had one good year. They had one year, and they were a first-round kickout. So,
on that point,
yes.
how about running backs are disrespected? Saquon Barkley had a great year, and without him, Daniel Jones wouldn't have got that.
We know what they did to Barkley too, right?
That's what I'm getting at. Franchise tag for a running back, $10.9 million.
And that's nonsense. I think.
How
that's
does
nonsense.
that compare to 100 and what?
160.
160.
Is that 40?
About, I think, 4 or 6.
Because quarterbacks are like Toyotas; they last twice as long.
But running backs just don't last. They last like 3 or 4
But think about what
years.
the Browns have done. I mean, they're just like, you know what? If we can't be good, let's just make sure that we make sure the rest of the league is terrible.
The problem with that is, Nick, is when they sign these big deals is that there is a salary cap, and they are going – it's going to cost the Giants and those other teams at other positions. And that's like what kind of the Steelers ran into with Ben Roethlisberger there at the end, is they didn't have a lot of money.
How much
to
was
sign.
Roethlisberger making? $41 million?
But it's
Roethlisberger,
taking up a lot of and that's why the Steelers are kind of in a more advantageous position right now, because they still have Kenny Pickett on a rookie contract.
Well, I get that, but think about
that keeps money low, and there still is a salary cap.
I understand, but think about how that ruins the league, though, in this case, where you have to rely now on your rookies, because when a rookie becomes established and wants the money,
that's
you
gonna
can't
happen.
retain him.
Here's
Ben
the team-
Roethlisberger, higher paid quarterback, but affordable.
Here's the team that's going to really get hurt in the next year or two. I don't know when it's the Bengals. When Burrow's contract, how many years has Burrow been in the league? 3 now? Is it 3?
Yeah.
So he's probably got a 4 or 5 year deal.
Right.
When his deal comes due, then they're going to have to sign him, and then they won't be able. That's how they made the Super Bowl, is they had Mike Hilton and that linebacker, and they signed a bunch of all these defensive free agents, and they're going to lose all those guys.
but do you see it
To interrupt
because they
you,
won't be able to
look
keep
what's
them.
going to happen with Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to.
They're
going to
be hitting because this next year
Yeah.
they need contracts.
But you see why I don't like that, though? That's why it's creating the imbalance. That's why it
We're
ruined kind of
proving
the
that.
economics of the NFL. I
I
understand
don't
that
think
there's
it's creating an imbalance. It's just creating an imbalance in the team. I don't think throughout the league. There's not going to be like the Giants aren't going to be able to sign a Daniel Jones for more than, if the Steelers want to keep Kenny Pickett in 4 or 5, they should be able to. I mean,
what
whereas,
if he does Joe Burrow like things? Just hypothetically speaking.
No,
because it's
I mean,
personal.
yeah.
He starts doing Joe Burrow like things, and then all
well,
of a
then
sudden
he's going to get it. He's going to get paid as a top. He's going to get $40
But then how's
million
that?
a year.
But you see how that's going to hurt the
How you doing
Steelers.
today,
yes,
Al?
then he won't be able to keep.
And wouldn't
the
that make you
defensive
wouldn't that
players.
make you upset that you have to retain a commodity like that, but not be able to invest in the rest of your team?
That's the price of doing business, I
Hey,
guess.
I got to interrupt both of you guys. I understand large contracts limit what you can do, but the Steelers have not got a first-round pick lineman since Faneca.
Yeah,
They have not focused on their offensive
Hold on,
line.
that's another thing
So
the Bengals
we're
found out.
already
Of an
behind
offensive
an
line.
8 ball
No, I hear you.
with what their mentality is.
But I'm saying, like, if you're trying to retain your
Well, we
high-quality
can't even
players-
get up to that point right now.
But I'm not just saying this for the Steelers. Like, if the Steelers have to come time to make that decision,
Well, I'm
if Ken-
Steeler-centric
If Kenny
right now.
Pickett or whatever star plays for the Steelers that's going to want an exorbitant amount of money, and right now quarterbacks are getting overpaid because the Browns set a standard, the Browns set a ceiling for a guy that is not the best quarterback in the league.
Hey, all I know is Geno Smith should get an award for being able to. They had him out of the NFL, and now all of a sudden he's getting $105
1
million.
year,
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's a home run.
do I think he deserved a raise? Yeah. Do I think he deserved that much money?
Wasn't he
No.
comeback player of the year?
Comeback player of the year? You'd think of that as a $105 million player?
Yeah, because it was a quarterback.
Comeback player
It
of
was
the
a
year.
quarterback.
I'm trying to think of who is a
It's whatever the price is in the league. That's how the,
Hey,
the
Nick,
salaries are.
Maybe we can renegotiate our contracts with Al.
Can I get a
Hold it right
100%
now.
raise, Al?
Hold it. I'm going to do something better. I've never done it, negotiated many multi-million-dollar contracts.
let me beat you to
I'm
it.
going to double.
I knew it.
I'm going to double your raises
Nice.
right now. You got double. You can have a second slice of pizza and one more slice out of
There
that
isn't much pizza
6-cut
left there.
hoagie.
We're on a salary cap on the pizza.
Well, that's all
There
right,
isn't much
but you
there.
got the double.
Yeah, there
Just
you go.
wanted to share that. But I agree with you with how it changed. But here's the problem you have.
Changed drastically.
You have Goodell that represents the billionaires, and I did say Goodell because they made the contract friendly. I know CBAs because I negotiate them. When you put the commissioner in charge of what you do, look at how you have abuse issues and financial issues and people breaking rules in their contract and they're still playing. And then some of them get caught for gambling, $1,500 gambling, and lose a season. And now what's Ridley going to do when he comes back? What's he going to be worth to Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Could be tremendous. So you got these outliers coming in. I'll say to you, how about we get rid of $18 million a year and sign Jordan Addison and get him in the first round?
Is that serious?
I'm serious. Get rid of Deontay Johnson
No, I hear that.
and sign Jordan Addison. I'm not being funny. I'm
Hey,
being realistic.
They're worried now about Pickett. 2 concussions in 1 year.
Look at Tua.
Yeah,
Same
they're talking
thing.
about giving him the boot too. So you just don't know.
At least they properly rested Pickett before putting him.
Got to interrupt. Amy and Gunn said Nick is on fire. They both said that.
I'm passionate about this. I hate when money ruins sports, although money is what runs sports, so it's kind of a paradox in that case.
How do
Oh,
you
well.
how do you relate to these billionaire
I
white
can't
owners?
I can't do it.
The billionaire white owners.
Oh well, I'm white. I mean, maybe that, but not the billionaire part.
I just wondered.
Disclaimer.
I just say it in this day and
Well, that's a
age.
fact. That's not a disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
No disclaimer. He's
The
not
way it
being
was-
racist.
It's the way it was spun.
No,
Disclaimer.
I brought it how Goodell runs the league for the white owners. Like Hollis
Well,
Snyder.
why is he? No,
So who's
that's
the-
not a
so
fair. That's
what
not
is that?
fair.
Does it apply to the owner of the Jaguars? Because he's definitely not white.
That's my point.
Shad Khan, so he
that's
doesn't
my-
represent him.
No, he represents Lawrence.
No, that's my point. That's my point to this, that we don't put that into the mix with all this stuff, because look what keeps going on. Why do we have to discuss these different
You're the one that
inadequacies?
brought up race.
Well, no, I just said white owners.
Hey, let me tell you something. There's only one color in the NFL, and it's green.
Ain't that the truth?
You can see Levine for that.
Whatever gets people tuning in and buying merchandise and coming to the stadiums.
No doubt
But
about
that's what I'm
it.
saying. The Browns can do that. I'm not saying
they
they
did.
can't, and
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did. Yeah.
I'm just mad about it, and I think that it ruined a lot of other factors and other teams, which maybe was their master plan.
You know, there's an underlying point to that, and you mentioned the Brown quarterback. Players who get in trouble in the NFL who don't generate massive amounts of money through shirts
gone.
and other things, they're like, good night. But the other ones, like Roethlisberger,
Yep.
they are worth a lot of money outside the game.
How many times did he get sued? Unbelievable.
But
and
the thing
settle
is,
out of court.
If they're worth more money outside the game than what they're going to pay to rehabilitate them, then they bring them back. Look at I almost fell out of my chair the other day. They had Michael Vick on television like he was the second coming. What a great guy he is. And they even had the guys on 53 Bradshaw on them saying, "Oh, you've done so wonderful." I'm sitting there thinking about tell all the dogs he killed. You know what a great
you know
guy
what
is.
shocked me for
I will
college?
say this: he does seem to have generally turned. I mean, he made his he did time in jail. He lost all his money. I mean, what more do you want out of the guy? I mean, he's not killing dogs.
It doesn't
make.
make. Hey,
It doesn't make it right.
This
but I
is
think
two-
he paid his
This
price.
is 2023. People get erased from woke for just because something they said. You know, when was the last time you killed a dog?
Oh,
0.
Okay. People who kill dogs, that's who they are. You can put on the mask of how wonderful you are and this and that, but I'm not buying it. I'm sorry.
You know
To
what?
me, he's a dog.
I can't put a disclaimer on that. I'm an animal lover.
I am too.
And I understand that. I do believe in people getting second chances, so I'm a little wavering.
can I reset for just a second?
Yeah, go ahead while I was
Give
on
me
a
a
rampage.
All right. Just a second. Okay. I think that the Browns can pay Deshaun Watson,
you're
but
stuck
it
on
makes
that.
me mad. I don't know what this is,
he have a
but I'm just telling you where I am
He's gonna be
before,
calling the
before
fan.
we continue. I just am upset that the Browns paid
I
him
got
that
a
much.
question. Like, who is Sean? Who is he?
Sean?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, who is he? And why are we even talking about him when he's an
he's the
abuser?
quarterback
Because
for
he's
the
the highest
Browns.
paid,
No, he's an
guaranteed money.
He
quarterback.
is
He
assaulted.
really likes to get
he-
a massage, Al.
he assaulted over 26 women and settled out of court on all of them but one. So to me, I have no tolerance for any type of assault or abuse
I hear you.
against
Let me just-
animals, men, women.
just reset-
Even you on a rant.
Let me just
I
reset
need
one
to
more
clarify
time. Let me
something,
just
too.
bring it back down to earth. I'm upset that a team paid a player that much money that I don't believe the player deserved. I already talked about what Watson did and why I don't agree with that. That's a whole other thing. I'm sure
No,
many
but
of
I
you
had to
agree
bring
with
it up
me.
because it should still be out
I
there.
hear you. The Browns had the right
Let it
to
go,
invest
Nick.
that much money in a guy, but I don't like it. Again, just setting my intentions for this conversation clear as day before they continue. Thank you, everybody.
You know, I just want to clarify the fact that I'm not saying that somebody can't be rehabilitated.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that makes them a quality, I'm going to bow down to you kind of person either.
No, but that's where
and
I
that's
was.
what they did. That's what made me angry. They treated him like he was the second coming. And okay, you're making money, you've recouped. Okay, fine. But you're nobody to look up to. I'm sorry.
Well, I let him interrupt me because that was part of my thought about it. And people do deserve a second chance. But in this day and age, you make that second, third chance, what about all your past that's there and the people that you hurt and destroyed their lives? That doesn't change. So to me, he said it perfectly. It's all about the green. So the money
See
talks.
So see Levine. If you
Yeah,
seek the
you're
green.
seeing me right now. If you need a hero, look at somebody in the military. Look at your own family. How about a mother, a daughter, a brother, a sister, an uncle, an aunt, an uncle? Anybody like that, those should be your heroes. In sports, it's very fleeting, and look at how they are and just watch their actions outside of the game. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the world. Before the last couple years, I would have liked to have met him and talked to him. After I saw him playing Karen, no offense to Karens that I know, why would I want to even talk to him right now? And there's one of the greatest quarterbacks physically in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting just how people are. You know, you look at the people who were born out of Pittsburgh. We got statues of athletes all over the place, but you ever see they should have statues of Jonas Salk and Thomas Starzl and people like
There
that.
is a statue that my friend Susan Wagner made right out of Starzl Montefiore. He's sitting in a bench, and she made the statue.
Well, he should have.
He does have one. I can
that up in
verify.
Montefiore?
Look how many people.
And she made the Roberto Clemente Starzl Maz statue. So she's a
The
small
episode-
little lady, a friend of mine, and she's a
How many
great
people
artist.
did Jonas Salk save in this town?
I'm alive because of him.
Well, so am I. My mother was his assistant. You know what I
Wow,
mean?
we got history here.
And I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We've just, as a society, engulfed in sports, you know, and all other stuff. I mean, I'm having a bad day when I turned on TikTok today and I saw the president of Ukraine playing on battles with, you know, they have his picture and he battles.
I got to give him all the credit in the world, from a comedian to leading a country to beat the Russians, who they said, not to get political, but they said they had the strongest army in the world.
Oh, if you're Russian, quit stalling.
I'm Ukrainian. I'm Ukrainian, so I'm not
Right over his
Stalin.
head, you know
No,
that?
I'm not Stalin. I'm Ukrainian.
I'm Ukrainian as well. So.
Okay, well, we understand that. Well, we got to finally go to my on location.
You look good today, too.
Oh,
When can I get a nifty Pittsburgh sports
for
line
20
polo?
bucks, I may get a new order.
Yeah, I'm in.
Give me your sizes.
I'm just a guest
Oh,
for
we're
like
back.
life.
On location, we got one of our best boxing events in years. The Irish fighters are coming from Ireland to fight our Pittsburgh fighters for the Donnybrook. It was here a few years ago. We're announcing and filming the fights at the Priory Hotel. What a luxurious hotel that was a church. John Graff is the owner. He's a friend of mine. What a great place. Wait till Nick sees it and films it for the first time. It's an honor to be there. Smoking Jim, by the way, if you need to know, we don't know what is going on with them, but he promised me that he'll be here for the fights this weekend. So not only are we going to be doing boxing pre-show and boxing, there'll be an hour or so pre-show. We'll do that. Nick, I, and Smoking Jim, I hope. And then we'll do the boxing for another 3 hours after that, so it'll be a long day. Guess what? We're coming back Saturday, and we're going to Millvale Community Center. Nick did a great show with a program we got and 4 cameras. I helped him tape it to the wall and ceiling.
Can't believe it was a year ago already.
Yes,
March 5th,
we did that.
2022.
Jose Caraballo, the Puerto Rican Prince, has hired us, and we're going to
thought
be
he was-
doing
he's a
great Golden
jockey at
Gloves boxing
Gulfstream.
that day. Get your tickets and come to these events. Go online, check Facebook, just put Donnybrook in there, and you'll see how you can get tickets. Do Golden Gloves, Millvale Community Center. You can do that. Ray Schaefer Boxing Association. And we have other boxing coming up in April, but I don't want to take away from, you know, the Ireland Institute. They have this, they're hosting it, and it's just a great event. And we like to have fun, and we appreciate our Pittsburgh boxers. And I'll just say this up front, we're prejudiced, and we believe our fighters will win because we're Pittsburgh strong. That's how we operate. So we got a few minutes left. I'll leave it up for an open discussion since Steve put it out with some millionaire question. I'll just put it up. what else do you want to close this last 3 minutes out with, guys?
Well, we haven't talked about the Browns quarterback.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Is it that big of a difference between Rutherford, Jim Rutherford, the former Penguins GM, and this new guy, Ron Hextall? I mean, like, one guy was just like Mr. Trade, trade, trade. Now this guy, he never wants to trade or get rid of hardly anybody. It's
Well,
like,
look, Boston,
I mean-
Boston Group bought us, and I think they have parameters with the old timers. So they wanted Hextall to try to like guide us to get to the playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, it's because they're owned by that Fenway Sports.
Yes.
You know what annoys me about that? I don't have a face.
You're awfully annoyed about a lot of things.
Isn't that right? I don't have a face to get mad at. I don't have a person to get mad
Well,
at.
they own Liverpool Football Club too.
But who's they?
Who's there?
Give me a face.
There's investors.
No, give me a face.
Manchester
You ever-
See
United.
what I'm saying? We got
You
Bob,
ever hear of the stock exchange?
Bob Nutting. It was Mario Lemieux. We got the Rooney family. Art Rooney
David
the second right
Morehouse
now.
isn't even with the Penguins anymore.
I know.
See what I'm saying? So, like, who do I get mad at about all of this?
Nobody. You don't have a face, don't get mad.
give
You
mad
get
at
mad
the-
at the owners. All the GMs are puppets.
Not wrong.
No, and it's sad how Hextall's put himself out there. You would have thought he would have been more aggressive, and then he signed Carter, his buddy, and then he put Kapanen here. So at least we got rid of Kapanen, but
His best moves were just cutting people.
yeah.
I think part of that whole thing was you got this well-known sports group coming in from Boston, and Pittsburgh is like a, they look at you like a Rottweiler on your porch. Who's this? You know what I mean?
Well, he said he couldn't see him.
Well, the thing about it is, I think it was their way of trying to ingratiate themselves into Pittsburgh and making it easier. You know what I mean?
I know, Tom. Yeah.
Making it easier and just so that they could acclimate themselves to Pittsburghers
Good point.
with holding up
Look, we
faces.
kept Look, we kept Sid and Gino. in the
exactly.
tag.
And now they're going to get out the hammer.
Spell the core, because next year might be the last year for the core.
Do you guys like Letang? Because there seems to be a lot of people that don't.
I've
What?
loved
How
Letang.
could you not like Letang?
Well, just because he turns the puck over in front of the net a lot.
No. Guess what? Look at what he does 90% of the time.
Well,
the
that's-
10%. Look at
It's
this.
kind of like a quarterback. They're going to throw their interceptions.
He's a good defenseman.
Yeah.
59.
I knew him when he was younger.
We got to say goodnight, folks.
Good night, Gracie.
Night, Al.
Please stay Joey strong.